The International Newsnet World Report is a national television news show available in more than 30 million homes. We broadcast daily real news the networks won't tell you. We are solely viewer-supported. That means you. You can donate at our website, INNWorldReport.net. We hope you find the following interview informative and helpful.
School administrators are still threatening to expel dozens of students who took part in a peaceful school cafeteria sit-in November All Saints Day to voice opposition to the Iraq War and the presence of military recruiters in the cafeteria and on campus. Despite assurances that the only disciplinary action the students would face were citations for cutting classes, administrators have since issued formal expulsion notices to many of the students, suspending many more, and threatening to bring criminal charges against students age 17 and older who participated in the anti-war action. To tell us more, we are joined by one of the students' parents, Adam Szwarek. Welcome to INN, Adam. Adam.
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
70 students attended the protest. Why weren't they all charged or penalized equally? Were there any obvious leaders in the protest? And what's happening with your son, Adam?
Okay, there were 70 or protest. How many there were? You know how many? The hardcore that received this harsh disciplinary action were approximately 37 students. Other ones were told to move on, or they would get a detention, and some others were blocked from the demonstration by tape, caution tape. The police and the administration put up, as well as tables. They blocked off the many students that wished to join this protest. As it stands with my son Adam, he is still under the 10-day suspension. The expulsion hearing I have not been given word when that will occur. I attended last night a meeting with the assistant vice principal of the school in order to reduce my son's suspension, and I was told that, well, you know, if Adam cooperates, we'll be able to reduce his sentence and back into school. And what he meant by that was, if Adam drops names of people he believes helped to organize this event, that he would be allowed back in school and the expulsion would be dropped. And I confirmed this with the assistant principal. I said, are you telling me my son's educational future is predicated upon whether he can drop you a few names? And he said, that is correct. And he also pointed out that any further suspensions by my son in this regard, any further days my son's going to miss, will greatly affect his standing. And so at one time I said, are you saying that if my son drops names, he'll be able to continue on school and pass, and if he doesn't, he will be expelled and fail? And he said, yes, that's the truth. At which time I said, well, if my son just gave you a few names, how does that serve its purpose? Wouldn't that be just one kid's word against another? If you call those kids in, wouldn't they just say, well, no, it was... I said, how is this serving the purpose? How is this an appeal? And basically he's like, well, you're not cooperating with us. Things could go a lot easier for you. It was almost like being in lockup and having the interrogating officer.
So you're saying it seemed like they were talking to you, knowing that you would advise your son. They were treating you like you had committed some sort of crime.
Exactly.
Now, yesterday the parents read a letter to the superintendent demanding complete amnesty. Well, that's what I heard by reading anyway. How did this go? Was there any response whatsoever from this letter that you read?
Again, very interesting. We read the letter aloud in front of the school, and then we attempted to deliver it to the superintendent's office, which is about a mile from the school. The school obviously got on the horn to the district office, because when we arrived, they were on lockdown. Which is normally a public building and open to the public, was completely locked down. They would not answer the door. They would only speak to us through a little speaker. And we said, hey, we just have a letter we want to deliver. That's it. And they're like, we can't open the door. And then we said, well, we don't need to all come in, because there was about 40 of us. We said, we're not going to run through your building. One of us wants to come in and hand deliver this to the superintendent. And they wouldn't answer us. We had to slip it through a slot in the door.
As I asked earlier, all students weren't penalized equally. I read somewhere that some that had better grades, that were part of the honor class at the school, were not punished as harshly, were just sent away. Has there been any reaction from parents or the community how this
Yes, there
was
has
basically
been.
uneven?
Yes, there has been. One girl in particular received 5 days suspension, but no expulsion or threat thereof, because she had a very high GPA. And in fact, her parents spoke out, and they wanted her to receive the same penalty as my son and the others are facing. He thought it was unfair that his daughter was getting preferential treatment. I mean, that's a gentleman there that needs to be commended. I mean, he spoke up. His daughter spoke at the press conference as well, saying how unfair it was, the inequity in these sentences, let's call them, handed down. One thing I would like to note also, that on the papers the students were given, it was called a 10-day suspension with expulsion, and there was a box that said other, and the administration had checked that box and wrote in mob activity. So that's what they're going on. Also,
In my day, we got suspended and expelled for fighting. This seems to be getting suspended and expelled for
sitting down in the cafeteria.
For sitting down in the cafeteria and asking for peace in Iraq.
That's another thing. A lot of people wanted to turn this into a